spinning the block again, and this time on the top right here though. Okay, Chicago done had another mass shoot. You feel me? And then this time, Risky Bandz was one of the victims. You feel me? Like, and then they say total it was 10 victims, 14. I really don't know, but either way it go, you know what I'm saying? He was a victim.
Just after 11 p.m. on Juneteenth night, a red SUV pulled up alongside a large crowd gathered near 95th and Princeton on Chicago's south side. Two people inside the vehicle opened fire into the crowd before driving off. When police arrived, they found over 100 evidence markers at the scene. 12 people were shot. Victims ranged in age from 17 to 47. Some were found at the scene. Others drove themselves to hospitals. Street pastor Donovan Price, who responded to the scene, described seeing a shooting like that on a holiday like Juneteenth as a tragedy that nobody should have to witness. That shooting became one of the most talked about incidents tied to the Shorty Mobb and Risky Road beef, not just because of the scale of it, but because of what allegedly happened in the hours leading up to it. People connected to Risky Road had reportedly been outside that area earlier in the evening, recording videos, posting to social media, showing their location publicly, and moving like the size of the crowd around them made them untouchable. The streets called it getting caught lacking. But to understand why that night happened and what it means in the larger picture of this beef, you have to go back to where the tension between these two sets actually started. Shorty Mobb is a younger set connected to NLMB, operating on Chicago's east side. Risky Road is based around 104th Street. On paper, the distance between them is geographic. In practice, the overlap in territory, affiliates, and street politics made conflict almost inevitable. The beef didn't start with music or social media. It started with a situation involving a firearm. According to accounts that circulated online, a member of Get Busy Gang, a set closely tied to Risky Road and commonly referred to as GBG, or 30 Boys, was accused of taking a gun that allegedly belonged to Lil O, someone with ties to both Drench Gang and NLMB. The person accused was Lil 30. What might have stayed a private dispute became a public one when Lil 30 allegedly began posting on social media in a way that appeared to mock or provoke Lil O rather than letting the situation die down quietly. Those posts drew significant attention online and, according to people who followed the situation closely, they're widely viewed as the move that escalated things beyond the point of resolution. Not long after those posts, Lil 30 was reportedly pursued and killed in a shooting. Accounts of exactly what led to that moment differed depending on who was telling the story, but the general consensus on the streets and online was that the social media behavior had played a direct role in what followed. For Risky Road, it was a significant loss. Lil 30 had real ties to the set, and his death hit the members personally. That's when Lil Scoom entered the picture and made everything worse. Lil Scoom 89, who was closely associated with Burly Boys and Bloodhound and was frequently seen around names like Q50 and Lil Jeff, began posting about Lil 30 on social media after his death. According to people who tracked the situation, the posts were not expressions of concern or acknowledgement of the loss. They were disrespectful, clowning Lil 30, making jokes, treating the death of a Risky Road member as content. For Risky Road, those posts crossed a clear line. Trolling someone's death in that environment isn't just internet noise. It's a direct provocation that carries consequences. As Lil Scoom's profile in Chicago drill grew and his name became bigger, the attention around him intensified, and so did the tension with the people who felt his posts were unforgivable disrespect toward their fallen member. Rumors began circulating online that rivals had been trying to catch Lil Scoom lacking for months without success. Some accounts claimed that a woman was eventually used as part of a plan to get close to him and determine his location. On July 7, 2024, approximately a month after reports of Lil Jeff being shot had already been making rounds online, Lil Scoom allegedly arrived at a residential property with a friend and a female companion. Surveillance footage reportedly showed the group arriving around 9:20 p.m. People who later analyzed that footage pointed to the woman's behavior near the front door as unusual, suggesting she appeared to be trying to gain access to a home she didn't clearly have the means to enter. Over the following hours, accounts of what was happening inside and around the location suggested something felt increasingly off. According to circulating reports, Lil Scoom himself expressed concern before leaving, telling people close to him that something didn't feel right. He reportedly reached out to his mother during that time, a detail that stuck with people who heard about it later, because it suggested he sensed the danger even if he didn't have a clear picture of exactly what it was. When he and his associate Lil Will eventually left the residence, they were reportedly ambushed outside. Lil Scoom was struck multiple times in the chest. Lil Will was hit in the legs. Police arrived within minutes and reportedly encountered an active threat situation. At least one suspect allegedly still in the area. Shots allegedly fired at responding units. Lil Scoom was found critically injured near the location shown in the surveillance footage and did not survive. In the immediate aftermath of his death, posts allegedly reshared by Risky Road affiliates referenced Lil 30 directly, framing what happened to Lil Scoom as a consequence of disrespecting their dead. The message wasn't subtle. You go after who we lost, there are consequences. That sequence, Lil 30 killed, Lil Scoom posts disrespect, Lil Scoom killed, is the core chain of events that turned what started as a dispute over a firearm into something that left multiple people dead and put the Shorty Mobb and Risky Road situation on a level of seriousness that wasn't easy to ignore. Which brings it back to that Juneteenth night near 95th and Princeton. Whether the rumors that Risky Bandz was among those hit in the mass shooting are accurate or not, and that detail has not been officially confirmed, the shooting itself became a defining moment in how this beef was being discussed online. The footage of people connected to Risky Road being outside earlier that evening, recording and posting, made the crowd's presence at that location visible to anyone paying attention. A red SUV later pulled up and opened fire into that same crowd. The caught-lacking narrative ran everywhere after that. The argument wasn't just that people got hurt. It was that the combination of street tension, active beef, and public social media posts advertising your location created the exact conditions for something like that to happen. This is a pattern that has shown up repeatedly in Chicago drill. Situations where what's being posted online and what's happening in real life are operating in dangerous proximity to each other. People film, post, broadcast their whereabouts, and treat visibility as a form of power. In environments where rival sets are actively watching, that visibility can become a liability faster than anyone anticipates. Following the mass shooting, the situation between both sides became even more heated. CEO Hawam, a figure with ties to the conflict, was reportedly involved in a retaliatory shooting incident while moving through the area. During that incident, he was allegedly struck in the head. Another life-altering consequence tied to the same chain of events that had been escalating for months. The tension also spilled onto Instagram Live at multiple points, with members of both sides going back and forth publicly, trading accusations, referencing specific incidents, calling each other out by name, and making claims about what happened and who did what. Those exchanges drew large audiences online and functioned as a public record of exactly how personal this conflict had become for the people involved on both sides. Watching those lives, it was clear this wasn't performative. These were people with real grievances about real losses, talking to each other in real time with no filter between what they were feeling and what they were saying. What makes the Shorty Mobb and Risky Road situation stand out from ordinary drill beef is the speed at which it escalated and the number of serious incidents packed into a relatively short period. A firearm dispute, a death, public disrespect toward the dead, a retaliation, a mass shooting on a holiday, another death, another shooting, public confrontations that kept feeding the cycle. At the time this is being covered, no definitive resolution has emerged. The losses on both sides are real and documented. The online activity continues. The tension that started over something as specific as an alleged gun dispute has expanded into something far more serious and far more difficult to contain. Chicago has seen beefs like this before. The drill scene has produced countless situations where the music, the streets, and social media became impossible to separate. But the pace of escalation in the Shorty Mobb and Risky Road situation and the number of people caught up in it beyond just the direct participants made it one of the more closely watched conflicts to come out of the South Side in recent years. Where it goes from here, nobody has a clean answer to that. Drop your thoughts in the comments on how you see this beef playing out. Subscribe for more full breakdowns on situations like this done the right way.